This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Are you in a situationship? This is the definitive guide to every situation. If you're wondering, am I in a situationship? What are we? First question, everyone starts here. Do you have a specific person in mind when watching this video? Yes. Follow-up question, have you interacted with this person at all? Like literally anything. Have you spoken to this person? Have you made eye contact with this person? If you picked no to this question, you're not in a situationship. This is a hot stranger whose only use in your life is to fuel your delusional fantasies at night right before you fall asleep. If you picked yes, I have interacted with this person before. Follow-up question, have you ever had a sexual or physical interaction with this person? So like, have you kissed this person or like have you hooked up with this person? Like the obvious shit, right? So if you're like wondering in your head, like does this count? Like we've accidentally brushed hands before, that doesn't count. You should pick no for this question, okay? Don't worry, we're gonna cover all the other types of physical interaction, but just pick no for this question. So if you picked no, we've not had a or physical interaction. Follow-up question is, have you ever had any kind of physical contact? If you picked no, we've never had any physical contact whatsoever. The closest we've ever stood is like 5 feet apart. If you picked that, you're not in a situationship. You're just interested in this person. You have a crush on this person. Have you tried making a move? I'm wishing you the best. All the best. Going back to the question of have you ever had any other kind of physical contact that's not sexual, the other option that you can pick for this is they've initiated physical contact with me, but it's not necessarily an indication that they have a sexual romantic interest in me. So for example, what I mean by this is like you guys have hugged goodbye after work, but like you saw them hug other people, right? Or like the back of their hand brush your hand, but it might have been an accident, or they playfully punch your arm, but it could have just been friendly. If you picked that option, follow-up question is, have you ever spoken on a deeper level beyond small talk or like surface level small talk? Or like have they made an active effort to talk to you one-on-one? So for example, right, like they gave you their number and you text them or you go on like coffee breaks after work, like just the two of you. If you picked no, this person doesn't do this stuff, they don't make an active effort to like talk to me, then you're not in a situationship. You just have a crush on this person. You should try asking them out and see what'll happen for real. However, if you picked yes, this person does try and talk to me actively one-on-one, then follow-up question from this is, consider how delusional you are. Some factors which may indicate you are more delusional than not. Number 1, you read a lot of romance novels. Number 2, you incessantly watch clips of the Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice movie, especially that scene where it's like raining and they're all wet and like Mr. Darcy confesses to Elizabeth. Double points if after you had physical contact with this person, you then went home and then thought about how this is exactly like in Pride and Prejudice, and you didn't technically like let yourself kick your feet about it, but you did feel all gooey and excited inside. If any of those things sounds like you might score higher on the delusion spectrum. I'm so sorry. Okay, so are you delusional? If you picked, unfortunately, I think I might be, then you're not in a situationship. Again, you just have a crush on this person. Just try and asking them out and see what'll happen for real. If you picked, no, I don't think I am delusional, then you're not in a situationship, but this could be the start of something because it's possible that this person is actually trying to show an interest in you. You should try and ask them out, see what happens, but there's a good chance that they will respond positively. Okay, so now we've covered all of the scenarios where you've never had any explicit sexual or physical or romantic interaction with this person. We're now going to move into if you picked, yes, I have had a or physical interaction with this person, which is like very obviously indicative that they're at least physically attracted to me. So for example, you've had a one-night stand, you've hooked up with this person, you've kissed this person, okay, stuff like that. My boss is texting me, hold on, what the f is going on? Okay, let's go back to this, okay. Follow-up question is, do you have non-sexual interactions outside of the sexual interaction that you have with this person? So you can pick yes or no here, okay? If you picked no, this is mostly physical. We basically like don't talk after before sex. Like we don't do a lot of chit chat. It's mostly like a physical thing. Follow up from that, is this a repeat sexual interaction or is this a one-off? If you picked one-off, then you are not in a situationship. You had a one-night stand, and depending on how often you see each other, like for instance if they're your coworker or they're your friend that you hooked up one time, then it might just be kind of awkward, but you're not in a situationship. Going back to the question, if you picked the other option, which is this is a repeat sexual interaction, so not a one-off. Follow-up question from that is, how brief did this entire arrangement last? You can pick one of two options. Number 1, you can pick this entire arrangement that you had between the two of you was like a pretty brief or like an enclosed period of time. A good example of this would be if you met someone on vacation in a foreign country and you were kind of together during that time, but that time is like limited or like a short time together, or like you kind of know or understand that this wasn't gonna last very long, then you should pick this option. The other option that you can pick is that this was a long interaction or this is still going on. So we're first gonna talk about if you picked this is a brief interaction, a brief period in time. Follow-up question, was this a secret or did you try and keep this a secret? If you picked no, this wasn't really a secret, then you're not in a situationship, you just had a fling. You had an old-fashioned holiday fling, okay? Good for you. If you picked yes, this was a secret or we did try to keep this kind of secretive, then you're not in a situationship, you were in a tryst or like a secret private rendezvous between the two of you, which is very romantic. However, the other option for this is if you did the bad thing and one of you was in a relationship when you had your entanglement, then you're not in a situationship, you're not in a tryst, you had an affair. I'm sorry. Except I'm not sorry, because what? Don't do that, that's bad. Okay, so those are the options for if this is a brief thing. Going back to the question, if you picked this was not brief, or like this was a long period of time, or like this is still going on, Crystal, follow-up question from this is, do you have any feelings for this person? If you picked no, then you're not in a situationship, you're buddies, which is, you know, you consistently see each other for your physical needs and you get them met, and that's about it. And if this works, good for you. However, if you picked yes, I do have feelings for this person, then you're kind of in a situationship because you have feelings for this person, but also it's not really the right word because as you picked before, you don't have any physical bonding outside of sexual intimacy. Like, you don't have any emotional bonding between the two of you. So this is kind of like the bad ending of fuck buddies. This is like a one-sided fuck buddy situationship. You could try and consider asking this person out, or like after you hang out at night together, you could try and see if they like want to get breakfast together, you know, see if anything happens, or you might have to end this soon for your emotional well-being, in which case I'm very sorry. Okay, so those are all of the options if you have sexual interactions but you don't hang out outside of sex. Those are all of the options. So now we're gonna do the final branch, which is probably the most interesting branch for all of you, which is we do have sex, or we do kiss, we do, you know, we physically are attracted to each other, and also we hang out outside of all of those things. We do hang out outside of sex. If you picked that, follow-up question, do you hang out outside of sex because you're friends? So like before you started being intimate with this person, were you actually just friends? If you picked yes, you were friends, then do either of you have romantic feelings for each other? If you picked no, neither of us have romantic feelings for each other, then you're not in a situationship, you're friends with benefits. But if you picked there are romantic feelings involved, follow-up question, just one of you or both of you? If you picked both of us have romantic feelings for each other, then you're not in a situationship, because depending on how well you've communicated, you might just be in the early stages of dating, or at any rate, if you are in a situationship, it's not like a dire thing, it's not like a bad thing. There's probably something there, especially because you're already friends. You should talk about it properly after this video. However, if you picked one of us has romantic feelings for the other person, but the other person does not, then I'm really sorry to say, but in my opinion, this seems even messier than a normal situationship, because this is like friends with benefits, but like the bad ending of friends with benefits. Depending on how deep the feelings go, or like how good of friends you were before this happened, this could probably get really messy. I'm really sorry. I wish you the best from the bottom of my heart. This is bad. This is the bad ending. I'm so sorry. This is rough. This is fucking rough. Condolences to you. Before this video continues, I'd like to tell you about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is the ultimate platform to help you build your website and grow your own brand. One of the best features for creators is the ability to sell content on Squarespace. You can offer digital products like ebooks, online courses, or even memberships, and you can easily set a one-time fee or a subscription price. Squarespace also gives you an analytics dashboard to track your site's actual performance, so you can see what pages are doing well, where your audience is coming from, and even track your sales. When you're ready to start your own website, head to squarespace.com/crystal for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use my link to get 10% off your first website or domain. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video and paying my rent. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so those are all of the options for if you hang out outside of sex, but you only hang out because you're friends. So if you picked no, we're not friends, but we do hang out outside of sex, then this is like possibly situationship territory, okay? We're like encroaching situationship territory. I need to ask more follow-up questions to make sure exactly how bad the situationship is, but this is, we're getting there, okay? So follow-up question is, do the two of you intentionally hang out outside of sex with the purpose of enjoying each other's company? So what I mean by this is, like, you guys hang out only when it's convenient for you. So for example, like if you sleep together and the next morning you get breakfast together, or like if you sleep together but before you sleep together you watch a TV show together. So like all of the interaction is like still kind of centered around the star attraction, right? Like the main event, okay? Or do you actively make plans outside of the main event, okay? So like if you start voluntarily making plans that don't always lead to sex, or like if you have rituals together when you spend the night together. So for example, you watch a specific show together, or like you often get the same takeout together, okay? So if you picked no, aka we only hang out outside of when it's convenient, so like we only go for coffee if like we slept together the night before, right? So we won't make plans intentionally. If you picked that option, then you're probably not in a situationship, in my opinion. This is my opinion. You guys are like hooking up and you're friendly about it, but it's not anything beyond that. So you're like buddies, but you're kind of chummy, you know? Now we're gonna get into the juicy stuff. If you picked yes, we do intentionally hang out outside of, then follow-up question is, do you have some kind of emotional intimacy when you have these hanging out periods? So for example, do you ever like tell them about your day, or do you ever share more personal details about yourself or your life, or do you ever vent to them about your day, or you ever like talk shit about someone? Do you ever like tell them your innermost demon things? Like, do you tell them about your family and your friends? Do you feel like even though you've never like talked about it, there's like an expectation that this arrangement, at least in the short term, is going to continue? So the deciding factor for which option you pick here is like whether or not there's like emotional intimacy there, right? Like, do you talk surface level stuff and like friendly stuff, or do you really kind of reveal something about yourself, okay? If you picked no, we don't do the emotional intimacy stuff, like we do hang out sometimes outside of because like talking to each other, but it's like more casual, it's like more friendly, we don't get into the deep shit, then this is just my opinion, you're probably not in a situationship, because it's like a casual situationship that you've kind of like let go on for a while, right? Which honestly, in my opinion, right, this might be bad, you might be like, Crystal is a bad influence. I kind of think this is fine, because if like both of you are like kind of chill about this, right? This is still plausible deniability, okay? Like in my opinion, right? Because you could plausibly say that like you're hooking up and like sometimes you'll go to the supermarket together, right? Because I'm seeing this guy a lot. I'm not gonna be a fucking block of ice because I'm not completely crazy, okay? Like I'm not gonna be hot and cold, right? You could plausibly deny and be like, yeah, this is the guy I'm hooking up with, so we go to like 7-Eleven sometimes, right? Like this is like a common sense courtesy, politeness, right? I would actually believe you if you told me this. That's why I'm saying, in my opinion, you're like right near the edge of a situationship, but it's not a situationship. It's still plausible deniability. You could say this is casual. Some people would believe you. However, if you picked, we do hang out outside of sex, and when we hang out, it can get deep. Like we have emotional talks. They know some stuff about me. Like, you know, they know a little bit about my job, or like what I like to do, or who my friends are. And like I tell them the weird stuff about my weird family. The follow-up question from that is, not only do you have like kind of emotional intimacy, do you guys like do stuff where it's like if someone else saw you, they would think that you were dating, or like your friends think you're dating? If you do stuff publicly, so like if you spend full weekends together, not just late nights, or like you met a couple of each other's friends, you not only have the emotional intimacy, but you have all of the markers of like an actual relationship, but just without the label. So if you picked no, we do have like these private emotional talks with each other, but we don't publicly showcase this thing, we don't hang out to this extent, then you might be in the early stages of a situationship, or like if you let it go on long enough, it'll become a full-blown situationship. So like this is where it gets murky, in my opinion. What matters here is how you feel about it, right? Like you can kind of leave it at that, but you can also like think about it. Going back to the question, if you do a bunch of like coupley things, like if you saw each other on the street, you'd be like, yeah, they're dating, they're hanging out. If you picked yes to that, follow-up question, have you guys talked about this, or have you guys discussed what you are, or like what this is? There are two options you can pick from this, right? Yes or no. I'm gonna assume that most of the people watching this video would pick no, I have not discussed this, but in case you actually have, good for you! You're not in a situationship because you guys actually discussed this, whatever this is. So you guys are probably doing whatever you think you're doing. So like if you say, oh yeah, we're seeing each other, we're like doing whatever, then like yeah, that's not a situationship, unless I guess you could have both come to the conclusion that it is a situationship, I guess, but that's kind of weird to call it what it is. Anyway, good for you. You did communication. You passed. You win. However, I'm gonna guess most of you for this question are gonna pick no, I've not discussed this with this person, we've not talked about this fully. Follow-up question from this is, are you fine with this arrangement? By the way, just now, if you picked the option which led you to being like in the early stages of a situationship, then you can also follow this arrow along if you want to like really think about what it is you're doing. So when we get to are you fine with this arrangement, this is the next question, right? So like you can pick yes or no. If you picked yes, I am actually fine with this arrangement, are they fine with this arrangement? If you picked, I don't know if this person's fine with this relationship, which I think is going to be a lot of you people, you should probably ask them. If you picked, yes, the other person is fine with this arrangement, aka I'm fine with this arrangement, this person is fine with this arrangement, then you get the option of you're not in a situationship, because if you're fine with this, then in my opinion, I think this is chill. This is like friends with benefits, or like you have no idea what's gonna happen. And in my opinion, that's fine. This is a hot take, maybe. But I think if you equally agree not to label things and you're genuinely happy about it and you're not lying, then you're not in a situationship. It doesn't have to have a bad meaning to it. Also, not to put a label on your labelless thing right now. Don't get mad at me. I hope this isn't up whatever thing you've got going on right now, but in my opinion, right, if you made it all the way down this branch and you're here, if you're both aware of the situationship and you're like kind of fine with being kind of exclusive or like kind of consistently seeing each other, that's kind of long term, and you enjoy hanging out with each other, I'm not gonna lie, Chief, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure you guys are just dating. If you guys are like exclusively seeing each other and you like each other and you're both fine with kind of casually seeing each other, but you're not really seeing anyone else, and you both enjoy it, but you're not boyfriend, girlfriend yet, that kind of just sounds like dating. People seem to have forgotten the dating part in relationships. People don't just go from like nothing to full relationship. Like this is just the awkward bit before making it official. But again, this is just my opinion, right? Like if you guys are like both equally in agreement that you're not gonna put any label on this labelless thing, don't get mad at me. I really hope this doesn't fuck things up for you if you gain consciousness about the state of your situation. My bad, Chief, my bad. Okay, going back to the question, are they fine with this arrangement? If you picked, no, this person is not fine with this arrangement, but I'm fine with this arrangement, then you're probably leading this person on, and you should either reconsider the entire arrangement by considering whether or not you want to deepen things with this person, or you should be the bigger person and end things, because that person's probably watching like neurotic dating videos on YouTube about whether or not they're in a situationship. And do you know how bad a person's psyche needs to be? Like, do you know the depths that a person needs to be to like r/Reddit, like, am I in a situationship? Okay, do you know like how bad it needs to be for them? Okay, also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more self-loathing content. Okay, so now we did all of the scenarios for if you're fine with this arrangement. So we're gonna go back to the question for we have sex, we hang out outside of sex, we have emotional intimacy with each other, we sometimes do coupley things, but I am not fine with this arrangement, okay? If you picked no, I am not fine with this arrangement, follow-up question from this is, have you talked to this person about how you are not fine with this arrangement? If you picked yes, again, I am doubtful that any of you pick this, but if you picked yes, then you also get the option of good for you, you're not in a situationship because you communicated, so you guys are gonna do whatever it is that you said that you're doing, but it's not a situationship because you have communication in there, so that's good. However, if you picked, no, I have not talked to this person about how I am not fine with this arrangement, then follow-up question from this is, does this other person have feelings for you? And for this bit, I'm obviously going to assume that you have feelings for this person because you said that you're not fine with this arrangement. So you clearly have feelings for this person, right? I think that's a fair assumption to make. So if you picked, I have feelings for this person, I'm not fine with this arrangement, but this other person does not have feelings for me, then I'm really sorry. This is the bad ending, okay? This is the classic definition of a situationship in my opinion, because you have unrequited feelings for this person, but you also do all of the things that seem to suggest that they have deeper feelings for you. If you get this option, I think you need to either try and cut off this arrangement at some point, or you need to have a deeper conversation about this with this person. Best of luck! I'm sorry, this is bad. This is terrible. I think it feels really bad. Wishing you all the best. Truly, truly all the best. Okay, so the other option you can pick from this is, I have feelings for this person, I don't like this situation, this person also has feelings for me. If you picked this, follow-up question is, are you just in a relationship? Like, are you just watching this video for fun to see if I cover your situation? Like, do you already know? If you picked, yes, we have actually addressed this, or like, we are in a relationship, we do know what's going on, congratulations, you're in a relationship. You have a good understanding between the two of you. This is the classic good ending because you win the mind map. You win the game. Comment below how, like, I'm not in a situationship, but I watched this whole video. Do that. I love when you guys do that. Thank you. However, if you picked, this person has feelings for me, I have feelings for this person, but we're not in a relationship, or we've not discussed what this is, we've not addressed what this is. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, and you made it all the way to the end of this fucking graph, and you hang out together, you have emotional intimacy, you have feelings for each other, but you're not dating, or you're not in a relationship, then yes, you're in a situationship. But honestly, at this point, I don't even like the word situationship. I don't even think it's accurate, because what I think is going on here, okay, is you are both like in love. You're in love and scared, okay? You're not in a situationship, you're in love and scared. Interpret that how you will. Thank you for watching this entire video. Jesus Christ, this is a long graph. By the way, this is an announcement. If you're interested in getting like a PDF version of this graph to like look through on your own, or if you want a PDF version of the what was the other video that I did? What is it called? If you want a PDF version of this graph or the graph from the Should You Tell Your Crush You Like Them video, you can now buy a digital copy of that from my Ko-fi page. I've tried to price it so it's like kind of just if you want to support the channel. These videos are obviously going to stay up for free, so like if you want to go through the graph, you can obviously just watch the video. But if you'd like to have like a static version of the graph to kind of just look through on your own, or if you want to support me and what I do on this channel, then the link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching this channel. We're almost at 100k subscribers, which is crazy. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for watching. Tell me what you like, tell me what you hate, don't tell me what you hate. I'll see you soon. Bye.